Welcome to the Hope Podcast, a weekly podcast devoted to the explanation of the laws governing health, opulence, peace, and enlightenment.
The Causal Body. When you call to the presence, you are calling to the presence of everyone in the world. Even earnest students do not realize what a power their call to the presence is. Contemplate life. Where does one come from? Where does it come from? From the beloved I Am Presence. Without that life, that light energy flowing into you from the presence, you would have no intelligence, no thought, feeling, or action. Therefore, you can see that it is the action of the presence of Father, Mother, God. The presence is the doer in every way, so as to make the outer self accept the fact. You can say to your presence, it is my mighty I Am Presence making this call. It is the presence acting and also answering it. Because humankind have turned away from the light at some point, although there is a connection with their presence through a ray or stream of light into the heart, each one must now again make a conscious connection to their source, making contact with their own God presence anchored in their heart. To go on to greater expansion and greater cosmic activities, it is one's I Am Presence they will progress in or through. No one can get away from that no matter what the teaching is. Each day hold the attention definitely and unwaveringly on the presence, even if it is just for a short time. Try to realize, when contemplating the presence, that in it are the powers of the universe given to you as a gift of divine love. Attention to the presence is the most powerful thing in the universe, but the attention must be held unwavering for a time. Knowing the presence, you now have a point of focus on which to anchor your attention. Give attention to Him and become acquainted with your own individualized presence of God, the mighty I Am Presence. Since we are of our own free will turned away from the presence of God, it will not act in our world except by invitation. As you give attention to and call to your presence, it will expand more and more of you, through you. And as less attention is given to discord, and the presence expands and increases its light in you, the shadows and limitations will decrease. Your consciousness determines the distance of your presence. Its closeness is according to your thought and feeling. It is not a matter of distance according to the human sense of space. In cosmic reality, the presence abides in a certain realm of light. If the presence and causal body abide in the atmosphere of Earth, how could any discord or imperfection be here? The presence in actuality is not in Earth's atmosphere. It is a being of 4 dimensions, and even higher dimension action. But of course, in radiance, it can be as great or as close as you accept it, as you believe it. It was said that if the Christ self came as close as 3 feet to the outer self, the latter would become blazing light. The presence is constantly active at cosmic levels. The energy in the causal body is not stagnant. The presence directs light rays through it and utilizes accumulated good in cosmic creation. The presence knows not of the human creation of the outer self, but the Christ self does. When one is purified and harmonized sufficiently, the accumulated good in the causal body is released into one's outer use. The threefold flame in the heart is a projection of the presence, but the greater part is above. More and more of that presence can be drawn forth and made manifest through the physical form. Even when the presence is portrayed close to the physical body, it is still without. The need to get more of it in action through the physical body, and that is done through consciousness, and not a concept of form in 3-dimensional activity. The threefold flame in the heart of undeveloped humankind is only a spark. In an advanced student, it becomes a little replica of the presence, which is in some teachings referred to as the golden man and the heart. Other teachings have a more abstract idea as to God and law. While this instruction explains God as an individualized presence within and above and to which the physical form and body is connected, It gives one a sense of something more concrete. Most people have a concept of God being abstract principle only, instead of a focused presence, an individualized living being, a being to whom you can talk to and who hears and answers your prayers or calls. Contemplate your presence. Try to get a feeling of its reality, a living, all-wise being. Pour your love into it, and it is possible to feel response from it. Some people think they cannot love a being unseen to them and not present to their physical touch. Yet when one thinks it through, they can generate a feeling of love when they think of a child or a person they love very, very much. In that same way, one can pour love to their own God presence. Remember, one must believe it to see it. For one who has been ignored and forgotten for a very long time, yet through the ages, this presence has kept giving you life and all by which you have had existence. The spheres of color around the presence represents the powers of the presence. They are symbolized in the major 7 by blue, which represents power and protection, yellow, wisdom and illumination, the Christ in action, pink, love, divine compassion, white, purity and innocence, green, precipitating power and consecration, ruby with a gold radiance, the action of ministration and peace, violet, the violet flame, transmutation and freedom. The action of the 7th ray is not only that of transmutation, but also of invocation and radiation. The colors of the causal body are tentative. We use one color for each ray or quality, although each color is 7-fold, ranging from very light to very deep. For example, the violet ray from a light orchid to the deepest indigo purple. This knowledge of the individualized presence gives one a definite focus of Father, Mother, God, a powerhouse, active intelligence from which to draw. Knowing Father, Mother, God just as spirit does not give it that, for spirit is the radiance or radiation of the focalized presence of God. Spirit is the radiation, the aura or causal body, but within that is the individualized presence. It is said that God is spirit, God is love. Yes, these are true, but those are only abstract ideas. Here is a very vital and important point in this understanding, not given in other teachings, that our individualized presences of God are in heaven, the higher realms, while we, as individuals, are active in the human realm. The presence is the highest activity individually, the presence of God, whose thought is flame and whose desire is only creation. Your presence is the foundation of universes. It is one with the great I Am. Your presence, the governor of the universe, has projected you, the light pattern upon which your human form is built. So you see, you are part of that great perfection. Your presence is individualized, yet it is one with the great I Am, which is one in quality, so we can justly say that all are one. The humankind of earth were immortal beings before they came, and not to evolve into immortals, but to expand their light and become greater outposts to render service to the universe. You are outposts of the presence. You are the focus of the Godhead at your point in this universe. Acceptance is the power of infinite activity within you. It is the presence in action. According to your balancing of its powers, you will have the fullness of the presence. When we call the presence into action, it compels divine love, wisdom, and power in balanced action. God in action. Think of what that really means. There is only one way, your acknowledgement of the magic I am presence. The energy flowing through the stream of light, the crystal silver cord, as it is sometimes called, does not discriminate, does not make mistakes. But when you call to the presence, that becomes a wholly different thing. It is one thing to know the presence is there, but to have its action here is the great command. That ray of light from the presence is just energy flowing. When one knows the presence, then in the call, that presence, it becomes love, wisdom, and power in balanced action. One who does not know or accept their mighty I am presence cannot have that action. Everything that is in this physical realm has come through the stream of light from the presence. That energy from your electronic body, the I am presence, can be requalified. Charge it with ascended master consciousness, which cannot be requalified. It requires only a sufficient determination for anything, for the presence to release the power for full manifestation. Practice accepting the presence. One must use and practice the presence. Just to come into the knowledge of the presence is not enough. Know your presence. In your feelings, that array of life from the presence beats your heart. For the open door is really the presence. That is the open door, which no one can shut. So it is.
Thank you, and subscribe to the Hope Podcast for exciting new content about the Ascended Masters and the Law of Life. Find out more at www.gatheringofchelas.com. Comments and questions? Email us at hopepodcasting@gmail.com.